Howdy. Felt inspired to film an update. It's just the strangest phenomenon. More and more I feel as if the world is just losing its stuffing in the most bizarre, hollow, meaningless way that would just make us all feel crazy to even discuss or to vent about. There's just a lot of factors, a lot of misdeeds that are adding up for people. Um, this is a time period that definitely should have been noticed by people to have been a time period to reflect and get better and take all the weird, disenchanting things to heart and perhaps make you think, I need to do an overhaul in my life and to do better by people, not be motivated to do worse to save yourself. That's pretty much what we're dealing with. I've mentioned the theme of the mark of the beast many times, and that's quite literally what we're dealing with. It's almost comical how obvious it is to me and perhaps others like me, but just seems like when I'm around anybody else, when I'm in a public sphere, it's just so odd to me. It's so stilted. It's like things are artificially kept alive just to perpetuate that normal flow and motion. That's pretty much what's going on here. Like normal waking life is deadening. It's becoming a lessened thing, and it's just a routine, mechanical motions, that sort of thing. Like it's hard to be a sentient human being right now that actually feels things because it's affecting us deeply, and I can sense by and large we're all feeling repressed and weird about what the world really means and what it truly is, but it's never referred to as. And that's just the everyday struggle, pretty much for me, from my perspective. And I sense it's a similar thing for many people that just can't get the words. There's so much manipulation, so many factors, and tons of existential weirdness. Trust me, like I feel weird even filming this, but I also feel motivated to work through the weirdness. And that's like the big picture, I think, for people like me. Anywho, I think what's ultimately what we're enduring is torturous for, like I said, high vibration people that already feel so much anyway. You know, we already feel so much from the world without filter that our sensory processing is always off the chain, if you're like me. But we're definitely being tested. Like they are our minds are being remotely manipulated at times to capitalize on the stress increase in our lives, the cortisol increase, to just make us feel as miserable as humanly possible. Like I go into every moment, especially anything that could be deemed a good thing, just imagining how are they going to ruin this. Like I've become adapted to to that type of level of torment from this type of life invasion, life interference, and activity, as you put it. But the fear and uncertainty of the future itself should cause us to reevaluate our habits and behaviors and motivate us to be better. But this toxic kind of influencing, blended with the sign of the times, the time period itself, it's bringing out the worst in people in the strangest little ways. Like tendencies are getting preyed upon, and people just once people lose the formula for who they are, then we're gonna have some weird problems in the world caused by dysfunction and the increased stress in our lives as things are removed or lessened. It's often felt for me, from my perspective, almost like the world's dissipating, and I'm aware of it, and I think we all are to some degree. But ultimately, we all have to just remain calm and normal, and that's the big picture for most people. But somebody like me, like we're searching for deeper things there. This can't be it. This is a paint by numbers type of thing that they're wanting to instill. And it's like the world's going into a weird socialist direction that's like peppered with evil and just strange, hollow nothingness is what it's felt like. And that's certainly come out in my expression lately. Like I feel as if it's leading towards more from within, like a spiritual revolution type of thing as things get progressively worse. It's just going to take people actually forming dialogues about it, which is the hard part that nobody really wants to grapple. But I seem to think that the universe itself is going to respond. Like there are going to be moments in our futures where Mother Nature is just going to take over and remind us to be humble and to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. I seem to think Mother Earth is going to take itself back and rid itself of toxicities over time. That's a given. You know, so many years ago, they thought earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, that sort of thing. I've often had dreams about tsunamis and that sort of thing. That I can't help but feel like that's biological and ecological events are going to happen in the world. But you can still expect that like repressed trauma is going to bubble to the surface, come out in weird ways in our behavior, and many people are just not going to connect the dots in this occurrence. It's too traumatizing and too damaging to think about things that have happened and whatnot. But our intuition and sensibilities definitely need to override our lack of cues from our environment, because it's orchestrated that way to mess with our heads. Where we're feeling intense distress as we sit and think and we have moments where we ponder, then you look around and you just see like normal mechanical motions, and that's that state of cognitive dissonance that's always going to be there to some degree. It's just we're dealing with a generation, I believe, of essentially trauma victims that have been silenced through all types of measures, technological and otherwise, even otherworldly factors. It's a wild time to be alive, considering so much is happening on such a weird, deep, existential level that is damn near impossible to express, let alone agree with in a uniform fashion where everybody's going to get it. Like, there's very few common denominators.